Good morning, students. Today, in chapter number 3, that is Conservation Ecology, we will read about in situ and ex situ conservation. So, let's read what is ex situ and in situ. Ex means outside, in means inside, and situ means site. Now, we will read it in detail. First is in situ conservation. In situ conservation means the preservation of species in its natural habitat. That is national parks, sanctuaries, biosphere reserve, etc. The national park is an area having adequate ecological, floral, faunal, natural, and zoological significance. The national park is declared for the purpose of protecting or developing wildlife or its environment. So, here are some characteristics of national park. It has reserve area of land owned by the government. Area is protected from human exploitation, industrialization and pollution. No cutting, grazing is allowed. Next is wildlife sanctuaries. A sanctuary is a protected area which is reserved for the conservation of only animals and human activities like harvesting of timber, collecting minor forest products, and right for private ownership are allowed as long as they do not interfere with the well-being of animals. Here are some characteristics, as it is a natural area which is reserved by governmental or private agency for the protection of particular species. It came under the category that is protected areas under Wildlife Act 1972. Next is Biosphere Reserve. Biosphere Reserve are a special category of protected areas of land or coastal environment wherein people are an integral component of the system. Its role is to preserve wild population, lifestyle of tribals, genetic resources of domesticated plants and animals. It also helps in conservation, promote economic development and scientific research. It is internationally recognized with the framework of UNESCO's Man's and Biosphere Program and nominated by national governments. Here, Biosphere Reserve is divided into three zones, that is core zone, buffer zone and manipulation or transition zone. Core zone means where no human activity is allowed. Buffer zone is for tourism and grazing of animals, means limited human activity is permitted. Whereas in manipulation or transition zone, several human activities can occur. Some biosphere reserves of India are given here. So, the advantages of in situ conservation is that the species have all the resource that it is adapted to. The species can continue to evolve in their environment. They have more space to live. Bigger breeding population can be kept. And also it is cheaper to keep an organism in its natural habitat. Next is ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation essentially deals with the conservation of species in suitable location but outside the natural habitat, such as botanical garden, zoo, etc. So the important thing is these species need to be conserved but outside their natural habitat. So some strategies to conserve these species are: number 1 is seed gene bank. In seed gene bank, the dry seeds are preserved at very low temperature. There are many reasons to store seeds. One is to preserve the genes that plant breeders need to increase yield, disease resistance, nutritional quality, taste, etc. of crops. Next is field gene bank. Genetic variability can be preserved by field gene bank under normal growing condition. Next one is botanical garden. So it is a garden dedicated to the collection, cultivation and display of a wide range of plants labeled with their botanical names. Zoo play a major role in conservation. Zoo have their own breeding program to help in cases of vanishing population. Zoo is now becoming a place of rigorous scientific research. And they also make an effort not just to preserve endangered species in captivity, but to understand, save, and replenish unique natural habitats. Its objective is to increase public and political awareness, long term gene and biomaterial banking, and to help in research on biological and ecological questions. So, here are some advantages of ex situ conservation. It increases genetic diversity, assist in breeding animals, provide proper care, and also monitor mother and fetus behavior.